Hello, welcome back to Gashel Neographic. Today, we will be going in-depth into the Russian Revolution of 1917, which led to a communist state, the fall of a repressive czar, and it caused conflict for the country. As always, I am Dr. Gimmelstein, and today I am joined with Dr. Jenkins.
Today we are going to be taking a look into the Russian Revolution of 1917.
And because we are Gashel Neographic, and we have literally the most funding, the very most, the mostest, the grossest, the bestest, and the mostest funding, we will be going back in time to 1917.
In fact, we're going to be going back in time right now to do an interview with the man himself, Vladimir Lenin. To tell you the truth, Germany thought he was such a cool guy. They sent him to Russia with $10 million and an agenda to instill further instability in Russia while pulling Germany out of the war.
But before we go,
here's a quick informational video.
The Russian Revolution. The year is 1914. World War I had begun, and Russia was at war with Germany. The working class and the peasants make up the Russian army. However, they are not well equipped or trained for the battles to come. The year is now 1917. Millions of Russians had been either killed or wounded. The Russian people were angry at Tsar Nicholas II for getting Russia into the war. The first revolution came about in February 1917 on the Julian calendar. In Petrograd, which was the capital of Imperial Russia, the army was called upon to suppress the uprising. Several protesters were shot and killed by the soldiers. However, many refused to open fire. The Petrograd Soviet was the city council for workers and soldiers. Now, more and more workers and soldiers elected people to it in order to represent their demands. The Tsar abdicated, bringing an end to the Tsarist autocracy, and a new government took over. This government was run by two political parties, the Petrograd Soviet and the Provisional Government. The Bolshevik Revolution. The Provisional Government was also unpopular. It made the decision to remain in the war and failed to give land to the peasants. Vladimir Lenin and the Bolsheviks were a faction of the Marxist Russian Social Democratic Labor Party and eventually became the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. He also stated all power to the Soviets, meaning that he would seize power in the name of the Soviet. On November 6 and 7, 1917, or October 24 and 25 on the Julian calendar, the Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, launched a coup d'etat against the Provisional Government. They stormed the Winter Palace and arrested the Provisional Government, putting themselves in charge of Russia's government.
To the Gashel Neographic Time Machine! Wait, what? It looks like we're in 1923 and not 1917. This is the end of the Russian Revolution.
Well, while we're here, might as well take a deeper look into the outcome. After the end of the Russian Revolution in 1917, it took Russia about 5 years to transition into the USSR, which, though the country was in shambles due to the war and the effects of the revolution, they installed many beneficial policies such as a peace treaty with Germany called the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, a movement to industrialize Russia, a seizure and redistribution of farmland from landowners to peasants, and women were given equal rights to those of men, and religion was banned from all aspects of society.
Though at first much of this seemed promising, there was still a large amount of corruption soon to arise with their new ruler of Stalin, opposed to the last Lenin. But we are still in the wrong time period, and we must start from the beginning to see how we got to this point. Back to the time machine!
I'm joined here with Vladimir Lenin on the train to Russia during April 1917.
Hello, I am Vladimir Lenin.
So, Mr. Lenin.
You can call me Vlad.
Okay, Vlad. What are your goals when you arrive in Russia?
I want to overthrow capitalism and replace it with socialism, and put the Bolsheviks in governmental control as quickly as possible.
What are your thoughts on communism?
Well, basically, my entire view on the Russian class is based on the Communist Manifesto, and I believe that communism is the most advanced and resolute section of the working class parties of every country, that section which pushes forward all others.
Right. Last question. What are your goals and views on the Tsar Nicholas II, who many see as oppressive?
Tsars are born, not elected. And it seems nonsensical to leave the responsibility of running such a vast country as Russia in the hands of someone who got there by accident of birth.
Thank you for your time. Peace, love, and bread, homie.
My hat!
These are the promises of our new leader, Vladimir Lenin. He's kind of cool, I guess. Become a Soviet today and gain all the bread you could ever want. It's a lot of gluten, not to mention peace. And on top of that, if you send a letter to the address you hear, you can even get extra land and become very wealthy.
The Russian Revolution of 1917, led by the leftist group the Bolsheviks and their leader Vladimir Lenin, seized power and abolished the traditional Tsarist rule. Later, the Bolsheviks would evolve into the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. Look! There's the Tsar, Nicholas II. How ironic.
Speaking of falling, Nicholas II's rule came to an end in 1917. With the outbreak of World War I in 1914, much of Russia was put under the pressure due to not being industrialized, unlike many of the European powers in the war.
Many of the Russian people rebelled, and due to this, Nicholas II ran away from the throne with his family. Petrograd insurgents forced him to step down from the throne. Later, a provisional government was put in his place. It was pretty cool. One of the most important figures of the Russian Revolution was Vladimir Lenin. Let's take a look into his lifetime and legacy. Vladimir Lenin was born in Smitsburg of the Russian Empire in April 1870. Lenin's parents were smart individuals, and his father was even a teacher. While he was growing up, he was a talented student and enjoyed playing chess and going outside. Later in his life, Lenin became more educated and came to believe that the communism was the best form of government and economy.
He became the leader of the Russian Revolution. Finally, the Bolsheviks, with him as their leader, came to power and transitioned into the USSR.
Stalin was one of the most evil leaders and people in the world. Many argue that he could be compared to Hitler. As a leader, he had everyone who he didn't like killed. On top of this, he would intentionally cause famine in areas where people he didn't like lived so that they would starve to death. That is not a good thing. That's weird and not normal. Throughout his role, he ordered millions of people to be put into slave labor camps, and it's estimated that he killed 20 to 40 million people.
Dr. Gimmel, you're spitting facts.
I am.
Let's take a look into Stalin's brain. Stalin showed clear signs of paranoia.
Stalin had his doctors killed by a secret police force after he was diagnosed with paranoia.
He sounds like a really nice man. Now that we all know about the Russian Revolution, it's time to go back home to the present time.
All right, let's go back to the Gastroneographic Time Machine.
Wow, that was really something.
We hope you got enough information about the Russian Revolution and got to go a little deeper into the Bolshevik Revolution.
If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Once again, I'm Dr. Jenkins.
And I'm Dr. Gimmelstein. And we will see you next time on Gastroneographic. Next time, we're going to be looking into the future. We're going to tell you what's going to happen. We're going to tell you which lottery tickets you need to buy. We're going to break all the time machine laws. And you're going to be rich. So make sure to join us for that. Because it will be great for your financial situation. But horrible for the economy. Absolutely just heart-wrenching. Like, everybody will, peace, love, and bread to a whole new extent. Except there's none of that. There'll be no peace, no love, no bread. You'll all be gone. But you will have won the lottery. So that will be pretty cool.
So true.
So join us next week on Gastroneographic.
Please do.